Alright, hello everybody, today for you another Let's Talk video. This is an interesting one. We're also kind of going into some music-y stuff, but this is Let's Talk songs that make me tear up / cry. And that's the thing. So I'm a little emotional. I can be a little emotional, especially when it comes to like books, movies, songs, stuff like that. I've actually been, when it comes to, I go through phases on what makes me cry the most, books or movies or songs. And lately it has been more of a song thing, which has been interesting. Because, there was a time when I'd cry all the time at what I read. There's a time when I'd cry all the time at what I watched. And now it's more of a songs, which is weird because there's less build up there, And normally with songs, it's not that the entire song is super sad. It's just that there's like one moment, one line, one aspect of it that hits that emotion button. For some reason I have a couple of examples, and they're all kind of different, like obviously we've got the songs that remind me of something that is sad. We've got songs that have maybe one line that just has a lot of emotion, or one part of it that has just a lot of emotion, or there might even be like a guitar part that has like a lot of emotion. I don't have any straight up instrumentals in this one, but I do have a couple that do have the aspect of where like it's the guitar that is really hitting me hard rather than anything else, which is a weird thing. But let's just go through, and this I think is gonna be a pretty short video. So I Miss You by Wasp. Wasp is an interesting one, because I think that's the only song on this one. Oh no, there's another one that's a little bit not quite super slow, but with this one, so this song is off of their Reidolized Crimson King thing, and it's one that I use for it's on the Fun Project playlist. It's on my playlist for my Vendetic books, which by the way, first one should be out by the time this video goes up at the very least, but it's the chorus of this one is really kind of what hits me. And the thing with Blackie Lawless's voice is that it is so just raspy, and like kind of in like a Kevin DeBrow kind of way, very very much just kind of rough, and you can feel the pain in it almost. It's a kind of a weird one when it comes to this list, because it's not that a certain part of it makes me sad. It's that the whole kind of aspect of mostly the voice that does it for me. In another kind of a similar vein, where it's not just an aspect of the song, I Saw Red by Warrant. Warrant is like, they're the king of fucking ballads, like I'm not gonna get into how much I think that it is completely unfair that they have been shoehorned into being the cherry pie band, because they're fantastic with like their ballads. Uncle Tom's Cabin is like right up there with 18 in Life, by Skid Row. I Saw Red is another similar to I Miss You, in the fact that it is a lot of the entire song, but what really does it for me with this one is the build up. And there are some lyrics in it that do get me, like the one thing that I think kind of probably hits me the most with this song is Janie Lane's voice when he's singing I Don't Think I'm Gonna Love You Anymore, which is like, it's an interesting kind of perspective here, because he's taking it, because I Saw Red, it's about this guy who walks in on his girlfriend cheating on him pretty much, and it's just that I don't think I'm gonna love you anymore has such a aspect of uncertainty, but also like just complete and utter depression. It's fantastic. Then we've got the obvious one. If you think I wasn't gonna put Sanitarium on here, you're insane. Sanitarium is really for the West Memphis 3 reasons, because I can't listen to it without seeing like West Memphis just spread out in front of me, and then I'm thinking about the West Memphis 3 again, and then I'm sad again, and that's just what my life is like. I did recently get VHS tapes of the first 2 Paradise Lost documentaries, which is, if you weren't aware, the Paradise Lost documentaries. The West Memphis 3, it's a true crime case that I'm very much into, a wrongful conviction case. Lots of fun, very depressing. But they came out with these right after the case. The Paradise Lost documentaries started coming out, which are about the case. There are 3 of them in total, and what was kind of notable about these documentaries is that they are the first time that Metallica allowed their music to be in a film. And so the first one has like, I think it's Sanitarium, Orion, and Call of Cthulhu, and Sanitarium has such heavy West Memphis 3 connotations for me that it just gets me every time, and that is entirely why, is because of those West Memphis 3 reasons. Like, I'm not even gonna lie and say that's anything different. It's because of the West Memphis 3 reasons. Think About You by Guns N' Roses. This one, so this song, it's a sweet song, honestly. I do think that it's probably one of the sweetest Guns N' Roses songs out there. It's off of their Appetite for Destruction album, because that's the only one worth anything. The User Illusion albums have some good songs on them, but when it comes to like albums as a whole, they've never topped Appetite for Destruction. That's because they got rid of their drummer, because he was the best part of the fucking band. Anyway, Think About You. The thing that really hits me with this song is the it's the acoustic guitar over the chorus, because I mean, Guns N' Roses, obviously they're a rock and roll band. They're very, they're lots of heavy electric guitar, really pounding drums, bass line. But when it comes to this song, that's how it kind of is most of the time. I mean, they do have their kind of usual sound, especially in their Appetite days in this one, but they do add an electric guitar over the chorus, which honestly, I don't even know what it is about it. Just the contrast just like gets me, This River is Wild by the Killers. This is a complete kind of, these last three are all kind of out of the 80s rock realm. Even though, I mean, I don't think I Miss You came out in the 80s, but Wasp is an 80s band. But the Killers. Okay, so the thing is, the Killers. Everybody knows Mr. Brightside. It's a good song, whatever. I can never just like understand how people like that song more than they like the Sam's Town album. And the Sam's Town album in general is like one of my favorite albums of all time. There's like one song that I'll skip on that album, and that's Uncle Johnny, because it's not that good. But This River is Wild. So Sam's Town, the song, is a good song. It's probably my favorite off of the album. But This River is Wild has one moment. So This River is Wild is it's the spirit of leaving this town that has just dead end small town, and you're just trying to get out and get free. And it's saying like, no, like, you gotta just like take your chance. The entire album really is you gotta take your chances and you gotta live. But what gets me is there's a spoken part near the end, and it's kind of talking in the perspective where we're using some like fair analogies, stuff like that, like state fair analogies kind of thing, and that's at least the vibe I get from it. Or maybe that's just because that's when I've seen so many headlights. But it's just like the spoken part, like, I don't think I've ever seen so many headlights. And there's a catch on the voice in Headlights that even just thinking about it makes me tear up. I don't even know why. It's just the wonder in seeing like there's so many people here, there's so much here, and Sam's Town is a fantastic album, and This River is Wild is just it's about breaking free. It's about being your own person, and that's the entire album. That's especially This River is Wild. Tenderness by Duff McKagan. Duff McKagan, if you did not know, original bass player for Guns N' Roses. I believe he's still the bass player again. I think so. I'm not sure. I was supposed to see Guns N' Roses in August, but then, we had to have a pandemic instead. I actually hadn't bought the tickets yet. I was thinking about it because the thing is, like, there's no use in going to a concert if you're not going to go general admission. But Guns N' Roses general admission was a hell of a lot more expensive than, say, Slayer's. Because, like, Slayer was still a little bit pricey. I mean, it was like $90. But Guns N' Roses was going to be like $280, and I couldn't quite justify it to myself. But I probably would have. But then we had a pandemic. Anyway, Tenderness. The Duff McKagan came out with the entire Tenderness album. It was actually very... It's got some songs. It's got songs about like Parkland and stuff like that. But Tenderness is, it's acoustic. This entire album is a little bit more acoustic feel to it, and Tenderness does, I don't know, it's just like, it's a call to be a little bit kinder, really. It's a call to just kind of, like, just be nice, just be nice. And it's so weird to listen to the entire album, but especially this song, because, I mean, Duff McKagan, he's like a punk, he's like, he was the punk member of Guns N' Roses. Guns N' Roses did that boy band thing before boy bands did it, where they each had kind of their own weird little aspect that they were doing. And Duff McKagan was the punk, and he just, all of his like other like solo musicals is a lot more punky than this one, but this one is just like he's got the really slow kind of voice, and it sounds like a punk voice still, but he's really calmed it down, and it's just kind of sad, And finally, we got some emo. We got Bulls in the Bronx by Pierce the Veil. So, Bulls in the Bronx, again, this is not a happy song in general, but what really gets me is there's a more spoken part where it's it's like an apology for committing suicide in the middle, and it's just it's a good song in general, but just that middle part, it's just intense, but yeah, that's kind of what we're talking about here. That's kind of it. Those are the songs that do make me like tear up or cry. Like I will say I don't like full out bawl every time I hear one of these songs. That would be ridiculous. They do make me tear up, and I do tear up very easily. That's a thing. I'm not the person who doesn't do that, but it's an interesting thing to think about. But yeah, that is all I have today. I will talk to you later.